Welcome, everybody, to a fantastic workshop that I'm personally really excited to be part of today. It's the Creating Captivating Captioned Videos and Clips. We are going to be led by Dr. Tolu from California State University, Long Beach. My name is Jeanette Wiseman. I am lucky to be part of the wonderful all-volunteer team that puts on the Peralta Equity Conference this year. And I just wanted to let everyone know right off the top that we are recording this. The recording will be shared in our YouTube channel. And also, if you would like to have captions, the captionings are available. You can find that in the lower nav bar. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Noah.
Thank you, Jeanette. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session entitled Creating Captivating Caption Videos and Clips. Clearly, I'm a little bit of a fan of alliteration there. So really glad that you're all with me today. And before we dive in, I just want to make sure that everyone had a chance to download and install the Clips app on your device. If you haven't yet done so, you can use your camera app to scan this QR code here, and that will take you directly to the App Store. And then you can just tap on the Get button to download the app if you need to do that. So we're going to go through some introductory content next so that if you need a moment to let that install in the background, you can do so. The other call out I want to make is if you're using an iPad that is attached to a keyboard, like the Magic Keyboard, it's going to be ideal to remove your iPad from the keyboard for this session because sometimes the keyboard can interfere with how smoothly Clips work. So just want to make that second call out. And then last but not least, if you haven't yet done so, I'd love to have you introduce yourself in the chat. So please feel free to share your name, your role, and where you're joining from today. And while you do that, I'm just going to go through a few virtual meeting norms. So first of all, we'll be keeping mics muted for the most part, just to minimize any sort of background noise, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't communicate with me. I am a big believer in two-way communication, and so I encourage you to share your thoughts, questions, reactions, repeat requests, anything like that in the chat. Along with that, if you'd like to do so, you're more than welcome to turn on your camera. It's always great to see smiling faces on the screen, but I also completely understand if you choose not to. And then we have our Zoom reactions button. So I will be checking in with you all regularly throughout our session, and I'll say, how are we doing so far? Are you with me? So please feel free to use the Zoom reactions to give me a thumbs up or some other emoji so that I know that you are with me at that point. And then last but not least, this is going to be a very hands-on session. So hopefully you have your iPad handy with you, and I encourage you to follow along with everything I'll be showing you today. So greetings, my name is Tolu, and I just want to give a little bit of context about my background. I've been working in the field of education for a little bit over 18 years now. And my journey actually began as a classroom teacher. So I taught K-12 for 9 years, mostly 5th and 6th grade language arts and social studies. And then after that, I transitioned to higher education and became a teacher ed professor, working with undergraduate students who are preparing to become teachers. And I did that for 7 years. And then after that, I pivoted into the corporate ed tech world. So I actually worked at Apple as a senior professional learning specialist, helping educators nationwide learn about how they could use iPads and MacBooks to enhance teaching and learning. And I am now back in academia working as a faculty developer at California State University, Long Beach. And a lot of the workshops that I offer for our faculty center around how can they really leverage the iPad for teaching and learning. So where are we headed today? Well, in terms of our agenda, we're going to begin with a project overview. We're then going to do some planning and prep exercises. We'll walk through the process for creating videos and clips. We'll then discuss some teaching and learning application ideas. We'll do a recap. I'll provide additional resources and then obtain feedback from you all at the end. And our three main goals for today are that you'll be able to use clips to record captioned course videos, edit captions to ensure accuracy, and then discuss how clips can be used for teaching and learning. All right, so we're going to start off with the project overview. What are we going to make our video today all about? And the project we're going to be working on is a user manual. So way back in February 2020, before things officially shut down, I attended my last in-person conference, which was the Lilly Conference, which is an amazing conference about teaching and learning. If you haven't checked that out, strongly recommend doing so. And there was one session in particular that really caught my attention. And the session was called Forget the Syllabus, Why We All Need a User Manual. And I was like, forget the syllabus, like what? And basically in this session, Joe Musico was talking about creating a user manual to accompany your syllabus. So I just want to share his abstract here. And he said, there's nothing wrong with a good syllabus. It's essential, actually. But if we really want to give students true insight into ourselves as teachers and help them get to know and trust us, we should all take a cue from the branding world and create a personal user manual that reflects our individual style. In this session, participants will engage in a fresh form of self-reflection and come away with a tool that can not only help improve learning dynamics, but help them effectively work with their students in a classroom setting. And so in this session, Joe guided us through the user manual that he creates for his students. And the way he frames it is, use this user manual as a guide on how to best work with me. And his user manual addressed 7 different topics: his teaching style, what he values, what he doesn't have patience for, how to best communicate with him, how to help him, what people misunderstand about him. And then he also chooses a personal artifact that gives students some insight into who he is on a personal level, and he explains how that artifact represents him. And so I remember sitting in his workshop and being like, this is such an awesome idea. I'm totally going to do this, and I'm a professor. And then things kind of shifted in terms of my professional role. But what Joe typically did was he just made this as a PDF document that he would attach to a syllabus or upload to the LMS. And I was actually thinking like, this would be a really great topic for a video, right? When we think about humanizing the online teaching process, actually creating a video so that students can get to know us a little bit better. And so we're actually going to use his user manual idea as the topic for our video that we'll be creating in clips. And through that process, you'll learn about how to record videos, how to add captions, how to edit the captions, and all the other special features. I was also planning to show you a sample user manual video, but because of time, I'm just going to give you the link to it at the end. And that way, if you want to see what the video can look like with all the bells and whistles, you'll have an example that you can look at then. Okay, so let's transition to some planning and prep for our clips video. So we don't have time to do all 7 topics like he would normally do, but what we're going to do is make a really simplified version that addresses 3 key topics. We're going to have an introduction clip, a your choice clip, and a personal artifact. So in the introduction section, this is where we're just going to introduce ourselves to our students. So saying our name, the course that we're teaching, and the purpose of the video, which is once again, a user manual so that students will know how to best work with us. And then for the your choice topic, you're going to choose one of the 7 topics that Joe typically includes in his manual. So either your teaching style, what you value, what you don't have patience for, how to best communicate with you, how to help you, or what people misunderstand about you. So what I'd like you to do for right now is take a moment to look over that list. And in the chat, I'd like you to share which of those 7 topics are you going to focus on for your second clip. So I'll pause there and give you a moment to share your choice in the chat. All right, I see some great ideas starting to populate in the chat. So we have what people misunderstand about me, my style, how to best communicate with me, what I value. Awesome. So keep those ideas coming. You're going to use that as your second topic. And then the third topic we're all going to do is going to be your personal artifact. So what is an object that you have in your environment that represents who you are and how so? So for me, I have these head wraps on my desk. These represent my Nigerian heritage because I'm the daughter of 2 Nigerian immigrants, and my Nigerian culture has played a really significant role in who I am today. So I'm going to use this as my personal artifact. But what I'd like you to do is take a moment to go ahead and grab whatever object you have in your vicinity that in some way gives some insight into who you are on a personal level. And then once you have that object with you, please put a got it or a ready in the chat. And that way I'll know that we're ready to move forward. All right, so I see the got it's populating the chat. I'll give it another few seconds in case anyone needs a little bit more time to grab that object. All righty. And the first app that we're going to dive into is actually the camera app. So we're going to take a picture of our artifact, which we'll then use in clips a little bit later on. So once again, please follow along on your device. And I'm going to go to my home screen here. And you can see that I have the camera app here on the first page of my home screen. If you don't see your camera app really quickly, a helpful tip that I like to share with people is you can take your finger, put it in the middle of the screen in between some apps and swipe down. And what that will do is it will bring up your spotlight search. So you can just type in the name of the app that you're looking for. So camera in this example, and then you can tap on the app to open it. So that's just a quick workflow tip that can make it a little bit easier to find apps that you need. And then once you have the camera app open, you're going to make sure that you're holding your iPad in the landscape orientation rather than portrait. So landscape orientation. And I'm just going to hold my iPad over my artifact here, my head wrap. And then I'm going to tap on the white shutter button to take a picture. Just like so. So go ahead and take a moment to take a picture of your artifact.
What if you don't have a Mac?
Sorry, what was the question?
What if I don't have a Mac?
So the app that we're using today is for iPhones and iPads. Unfortunately, it's not available for the Mac. Great question.
I meant I only have a PC. I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so unfortunately, this session would only be applicable if you're using some type of Apple device, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad.
I'm in the same situation. I'm watching to get ideas to see if putting in a request for faculty use for an iPad might be worth it. So I am hanging out, but not fully participating for the same reason.
Great idea.
Same here.
Great idea.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so let me know what the Zoom reaction or in the chat if you have taken a picture of your artifact. Thanks, Erica, Andrea, thank you. I see some thumbs up from those here as well. Perfect. And we're going to also check our settings really quickly. So we're going to go back to our home screen and we're going to open up the settings app, which is that gray gear there. As a reminder, if you don't see settings really quickly, just put your finger in the middle of your home screen and swipe down, type in settings, and then we'll tap to open the app. And what we're going to do in settings is we're just going to make sure that we have the dictation feature enabled because that's going to make the captioning work when we're in the Clips app. So once you're here in settings, in this left sidebar, you're going to scroll down to the category for general and tap on that. And then on the right side, you're going to tap on keyboard. It might be near the bottom. And then I'm going to scroll to the bottom of this list and you'll see an option for enable dictation. So you want to make sure that that switch is turned on. So once again, I went to general on the left, keyboard on the right, scroll down to enable dictation and make sure that you've turned that on. And I'll put a recap of those steps in the chat too. And now that we have that on, we're actually ready to dive into clips. So what we're going to do is we're going to work together to create our video in clips. Once again, it's going to be our introduction clip, our your choice clip, and then our personal artifact. We'll start off just by reviewing the layout of the Clips app and some of the basic features that are there. So how to record a clip, how to add posters and whatnot. Unfortunately, we won't have time to get into all of the different things that you can do in here, but hopefully this will be a good start. And then I'll provide some resources that you can use to go further as well. And once again, please follow along on your device. So we're going to open up the Clips app, which looks like a little camcorder on a blue background. Remember, you can do that search function to find it. And when you first open up Clips, you're going to see yourself in the center of the screen. I just switched mine to the opposite direction, so you won't have to stare at my ceiling. But what I wanted to do first is just give a quick overview of the layout of Clips. So in the top left corner, you have the square icon, and that's what you'll tap on whenever you want to create a new project or to access projects that you've previously created. In the top right corner, you'll see a little rectangular icon, and that's where you can go to change the aspect ratio. So if you want your video to be square instead of rectangular, you could change the size in that menu. Then we have a musical note in the top right corner. That's for adding music to the background of your video. You have some camera icons here. You'll have a flash button, a shutter button, and then a button for switching between your front and rear facing cameras. We have this red record button, which is the most important button of all. Anytime you want to add anything to your project, you'll need to hold down that button. And then below that button, we have an effect star. This is where you can go to add things like emoji and text labels and things like that. We have a little media icon for adding posters and then photos or videos that are already on your iPad's photo library. And then along the bottom, we have our timeline, which is where your clips will appear, a play button for previewing your clips, and then a share button for sharing your completed project with other people. So that's just a really quick layout of the different parts of clips. And let's start off by creating a new project. So we're going to tap on the square in the top left corner of the screen. If you've created other projects, you'll see them all available here. And if you want to make a new project, you'll just tap on the plus sign, which will bring you back to this window. And then let's tap on the rectangular icon in the top right corner of the screen. So this is once again where you can change the size of the video. By default, it's going to be 4:3, which is what we're going to leave it on. But once again, if you wanted to make it square, like if you're planning to post it on Instagram or Twitter or something like that, you do have the ability to do that there. And we're going to start off by adding posters, which can be really helpful for having an introduction to your video, an ending section, or even for chunking your video throughout. So whenever you want to add a poster to your project, you're going to tap on the photograph icon at the bottom, kind of the bottom right region of the screen. And then you're going to tap on the option for posters. And what this will do is it will bring up a gallery of different posters that here on the left. So I can just swipe down with my finger to see the different options. The first two categories are static, and the remaining categories are dynamic, meaning that they have some sort of animation that will happen. So you can kind of scroll down to see all the different options. And then if you think you might like one, but you want to preview it first, you can just tap and hold on a specific object or specific poster to preview it. So I'm going to tap and hold on the one that says, "Look what I made." And as I keep my finger there, I can just see what that animation might look like. So that one's probably not going to be a good fit for a user manual, but maybe this one. I'm going to use the one that says "at the office." And when you find one that you like, you're just going to tap on it once. And then that will become the background of your screen here. Now, the great thing is all of those posters, you can actually edit the text. So I'm going to double tap where it says "at the office," and I can use my keyboard to change the name to user manual. And then in the top right corner, we're going to tap on the apply button. And then as I mentioned earlier, to add it to your project officially, you have to hold down this red record button. So you could either hold it down while you're talking if you want it to have narration on top of it, or you can just silently hold it down for a few seconds if you just want it to play on its own. So I'm just going to silently hold down this red record button for about 3 to 4 seconds, and then I'll let go. And when I let go, you can see that that clip is now officially in my timeline. So it's actually part of my project. And then to exit this view, I'm going to tap on the X in the top left corner of the screen. So I'm going to repeat that process. Let's say I want to add another poster for my your choice topic. I'm going to tap on the photograph icon in the bottom right corner. Tap on posters. I'm going to choose a poster type. You can keep the same one throughout or do different ones for each section. I'm going to tap on this one here. Double tap on the text to change it to your choice topic. Tap on apply in the top right corner of the screen. Hold down that red record button for a few seconds. and then tap on the X to exit that window. So I'm going to post a recap of those steps in the chat. And I also want to give you just a couple of minutes to create 3 total posters. So we should have the user manual poster, whatever your second topic is, and then personal artifacts. So I'll pause and give everyone a moment to. All right, quick check-in. How are we doing with adding our 3 posters? Feel free to let me know in the chat or with a Zoom reaction if you have your 3 posters in your timeline. All right, Eric is good to go. All right, starting to see the thumbs up. Perfect. So that's how easy it is to add posters to your project. And what we're going to do next is we're going to actually record videos, and we're going to record the videos with live titles. Live titles are basically captions that are built into to the Clips app. So the first thing we need to do is we need to turn on the live titles or captioning feature. So what we're going to do, first of all, I just want to call out, if you still see your poster in the background, make sure to tap on the X in the top left corner so that you're back to like the normal viewer window like I am. And then you're going to tap on the effects star right below the red record button. And when you tap on the effects star, you're going to see a window pop up in the bottom left. And this has a few different icons here. There are filters, there's the text, live titles, text labels, stickers, and emoji. We're going to tap on the second option that looks like a white speech bubble. And this is where we're going to access live titles. The other call out I want to make is that the top of this window has a gray handle. So you can drag up on that gray handle to expand the area. And what we're going to do is we're going to swipe to the bottom of this window, and you should see a little globe icon down there. Go ahead and tap on the globe. And this is where you would be able to change it to whatever language you are planning to speak in. So I want to clarify that Clips will not translate what you're saying, but it will transcribe it in whatever language you choose. So if you want to make a video where you are speaking in Spanish and you want the captions to be in Spanish, you can just change your language to Spanish or to German or whatever other language you want. So I'm going to leave mine on English United States for now, but I just wanted to call that out in case anyone wants to record their video in a different language. And then you'll notice when you come back to the previous window that you have a lot of different captioning styles that you can choose from. So tapping on any of these options will actually give you a preview of what that captioning style will look like. And there are lots of different options here. But a quick call out I want to make is, and this is something I learned recently on Twitter from people I know who work in accessibility, is you really want to avoid captions that only show one word at a time. So this example here, where it's just one letter popping up each time, that's actually not a good captioning style. It's best to stick with captioning styles like static caption lower, where it's showing an entire sentence or phrase at a time. So you're just going to tap on the captioning style that you want. And then after that, you're going to tap on the X in the top right corner of the screen. And you'll notice that you have a little yellow on button here, letting you know that, hey, this is something that, sorry, your captions are now turned on. So anytime you're recording, it's going to have that enabled. All right, so quick check-in. Do we all have live titles on? Feel free to let me know with the Zoom reaction or in the chat. And I'll also put a recap of those steps in the chat as well. Okay, so now we are ready to record. And as I mentioned, to record, we're just going to hold down this red record button here and then let go when you're done. So I'm going to quickly model this, and then I'll give everyone some time to do this. So I'm going to also put my iPad here on a stand to make it a little bit easier to record. So I can just hold down this red record button, and let's say I'm recording my introductory clip. Hello, students. My name is Dr. Noah, and I'm so excited to be your professor for EDLS 200, Introduction to Teaching as a Profession this semester. In this video, I'm going to be providing you with a user manual so you can get to know a little bit more about who I am and how to best partner with me this semester. And I let go. And you can notice that as it was recording, it was also doing the captioning there at the bottom. So that's one way to record, is you hold down that red record button the entire time that you're speaking. But what if you don't want to have to keep your finger there the whole time? Another option is you can tap and hold on the red record button and then drag it to the left. And what that will do is it does continuous recording. So now I'm recording, I can use my hands to show gestures and things like that. And when I'm done, once again, I would tap on that red record button to stop the recording. And you can see that that second clip has now appeared there in my timeline. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause, and I'm going to give you some time to record your first two clips. So your introductory clip, where you're just telling students, this is who I am, this is the purpose of the video. And then also your choice clip, where you are explaining one of the 7 topics that you've selected. So I'll pause and give you some time to do that now. Okay, hopefully I'm not interrupting anyone's recording, but just want to check in again. How do we do with recording our introduction and your choice clips? So far, so good. Okay, see some thumbs up and some goods in the chat. Perfect. Now, one thing you may have noticed is I recorded some extra clips here, some of which I don't need. So if you ever record a clip and you're like, oh, I don't want that, you just tap on the clip in your timeline that you want to get rid of. So I'm going to tap on the second video one here. And then you'll tap on the trash can here, and that will automatically get rid of that clip. So I could just tap on delete, just like so. So I like to point that out because if you make an error, you don't have to record the entire thing all over again. You can just delete that specific part of the video and then just re-record it like you did before. And then to get back to the previous window, once again, I'm going to tap on done in the top left corner of the screen to get back here. Okay, so let's bring in and I see a question here. Is there a way to fix the text caption? So yes, we're going to get there in a moment. And that's the most important part probably of this entire session, is the fact that it's so easy to be able to edit the caption. So we'll get there in a moment. Okay, so let's bring in our personal artifact. We took a picture of this with our camera a little bit earlier. So whenever you want to bring content from your iPad's photo library into Clips, we're going to go back to our photograph icon at the bottom of the screen, bottom right region, and tap on Photos. And this will access your iPad's camera roll. So you should see any pictures you've recently taken here. I'm going to tap on my artifact photo. And then I'm going to tap on Add in the top right corner of the screen. And you'll see two options of either Add to Project or Preview and Record. I always recommend doing the second option, Preview and Record, because that will allow you to actually record narration on top of it. If you do the first option, it's just going to add it to your project and you can't record anything afterwards. So I'm going to tap on that second option, Preview and Record. And then it brings the photo into my project. And you can actually pinch in and out on the photo if you want to zoom in and out and reposition it accordingly. But remember, it's not officially part of your project unless you hold down that red record button. So I'm going to quickly record some narration here. For my personal artifact, I selected these head wraps, which represent my Nigerian heritage. Let go. And then I'm going to tap on the X in the top left corner of the screen to go back to the main viewer. So I'll pause and give you a moment to add in your photo and to record it into your project. Okay, so we have our posters, we have our video clips, we have our artifact, and now let's get into the great question I saw in the chat was, can I actually edit these captions once I've recorded? And the answer is yes. So go ahead and tap on one of your video clips. So I'm going to tap on the first one I did here. And then to edit the captions, I'm going to go back to the effects star. And it will take you right back to whichever area you were in previously. So you can see it took me right back to the live titles window. And you'll notice in the top right corner of the window, there's a button that says Edit Text. So you're going to tap on the Edit Text button, and this will bring up what it thought you said. So now I can just go in with my keyboard and make any edits that I need to the punctuation, the spelling, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just making some edits right now. And I won't edit all of this right now, but once you've edited that, you would tap on Done on your keyboard, and then tap on the X to close that window, and then Done in the top left corner to get back to the previous window. And I could repeat that process for each clip. So I would tap on my next clip down there, go back to the star, tap on Edit Text, make the edits I need to. And then tap on Done. Close this window. Done in the top left. And again for my third one. Photo, effects, edit text. And then Done, tap the X, and Done. So quick check-in, was everyone able to edit the text on at least one of their clips? Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay. So I know we're coming close to the last 10 minutes of the session. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to talk about how do you reorganize these clips, and then how do you save them and share them? And then I'll share some additional resources afterwards that can be helpful. So you may notice that my clips are out of order, right? So I have my 3 posters and then I have my videos right after that. And to reorganize clips, it's as easy as tapping and holding on a clip and then dragging it where you want it to go. So I'm going to tap and hold on my first video clip in the timeline, and then I'm just going to drag it to the left so that it's in between my 2 posters. And then I'll repeat that with my second clip, tap and hold on it in my timeline, drag it to the left. So now I have poster, video, poster, video, poster, video. And then along with that, once you have everything in the right order, you can preview what your video looks like just by tapping on the play button. So I'm going to go ahead and press play. Hello students, my name is Dr. Noah and I'm so excited to be your professor for EDLS 200 Introduction to Teaching as a Profession this semester. In this video, play the whole thing because I also didn't fix all the errors in my captioning there, but go ahead and take a moment to preview your video and then let me know in the chat once you watched it all the way through. All right, was everyone able to preview their video? See what it looks like so far? Yes? Wonderful. If you're still in the main view here, tap on done in the top left corner of the screen. And because of time, we're going to have to pause there, but I do want to let you know that there's so much more that you can do beyond what we've done today. Those are just the basics of recording and editing the captions. But there are tons of other special effects. So you can do things like add filters to your clip. You can also do things like add text labels. So if you want labels to pop up and you want to, have words pop up on the screen, you can do that too. There are stickers that you can add, and these are animated stickers that will appear. There are also emoji that you can add to your video. And you have the ability to add musical clips as well. So once again, I will share some additional resources for how you can go further with this a little bit later on. The last thing we'll do though is how do you save and share this? So to save the project, we're going to tap on the share button, the square with the arrow pointing out of the top in the bottom right corner of the screen. And then you're going to tap on the option for save video. And what that's going to do is it's going to save a copy of the video to your iPad's photo library. So I'm going to give it a moment to save. It's usually faster than this, but of course, when you're presenting, things go slower. All right, so it's saved it. I'm going to tap on the OK button. So now it's on my iPad's photo library. So from there, I could easily upload it to the LMS. I could add it to a slide, anything like that. And then you also have the same share options that you normally would have on an Apple device. So being able to send it in a message or add it to an email or anything else like that. All right, so now that we've talked about the basics of using clips, I want to go ahead and transition to some discussion time. And my questions for you all are, how might you use clips in your teaching or other professional work? Or how might students use clips for learning? Because once again, if your students have iPhones or iPads, they can do everything I've just shown you as well. So please feel free to either share your thoughts in the chat, or if you'd like to come off mute, you can use the raise hand button to do that, to share your thoughts. But how could this be useful for teaching, for learning, or other professional work? All right, Erica says, I can create an advertisement to let parents know I have spaces available. Yes, so great for parent communication. Thanks for sharing that, Erica. Other application ideas that are coming to mind? And if not, if you're still kind of playing around with it or thinking through it, no problem. I'll go ahead and share some additional ideas of ways that I've used it or seen others use it as well. So from the faculty side of things, you can use this for like week at a glance videos where you are giving students an overview of here are the topics we're going to be talking about this week, or here are the assignments that are coming up. Here are some upcoming events. It's also great for creating tips for success videos where you're actually giving students some ideas of like, hey, here are some tips for success with your research paper, or here are some tips for success with your presentation. They're great for instructional videos. If you're creating micro lectures, Clips is wonderful for that. And once again, you can do all of the editing of the captions right from the same app. They're great for demos. So you can actually record videos where you're modeling specific skills that are related to what you're teaching. Class activities as well. You can make a case study video and then have your students analyze what you're saying in the video. It's great for tech tutorials, showing students how to do things on their device. Course or unit introductions, along with course trailer videos. You can use it to introduce yourself at the beginning of the year, like what we did today. And it's also great for things like advising reminders and providing feedback to students as well. And then if your students have devices, they can use Clips for student introduction videos, reflection videos, assessments. So having them create a video where they're explaining what they learned about a topic or demoing how to do a specific skill. For virtual class presentations, PSAs, role plays, interviews, research summaries. Basically, it goes much further. And then you're also able to use this along with other features of the iPad. So I can take screenshots and bring them into my Clips project. I can do a screen recording and bring that into my Clips project. And then a really great idea that I learned from a faculty member is you can even take something like a QR code and put that at the end of your video so that when students are done watching, they would then, scan the code to be able to take a quiz or do a reflection. And I see some great ideas in the chat as well. So Elle says this would be a great way to humanize that weekly announcement. Yes. And then Shantia, and if I'm mispronouncing your name, please correct me. She says, I can see so many uses from sharing about new courses to the initial new courses. Really do like that. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. So I'm just going to provide a few additional resources. And we'll start by the recap. So you can now hopefully use Clips to record caption course videos, edit captions to ensure accuracy, and discuss how Clips can be used for teaching and learning. And I'm going to provide a link to a Wakelet in the chat, which has a user manual, tutorials. I also put a sample user manual video there in case you want to see what mine looks like with all the bells and whistles. You can access that via the Wakelet page that I put in the chat. And it also includes a one-pager that gives an overview of everything we talked about today, the user guide, and my sample video. And then I'd love to stay in touch with you all. So you can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, pretty much everywhere. So my contact information is there in the chat for your reference. And last but not least, I would love to get your feedback about the session. So you can click on the link that I'm posting in the chat or scan the QR code to share your thoughts. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you're walking away with at least one new idea for how Clips can be used for teaching or other professional purposes.
Thank you so much, Dr. No. That was so wonderful. I'm going to end the recording now.